Hey there guys, how are you? Sorry it's been a while. I've been a little bit under the weather the past week. I've had a sore throat, a stuffy nose, and a slight fever. At one point, I felt like Jeff Goldblum in the movie The Fly. Yeah, I just woke up in the middle of the night all sticky and I was like, what's happening? So the new movie Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher, who is incapable of directing a bad movie. That doesn't count! But yeah, besides that movie, every other movie this guy has directed has been pretty phenomenal, or at least above average. So what is this movie all about? Well, one day a married woman goes missing, and the husband is put in the spotlight of the media circus, and his innocence comes into question. Now this movie stars Ben the Daredevil Superman I'm Batman Affleck. That's what I'm calling him nowadays. And say what you will about Ben Affleck, he has been in some very shitty movies, but he's also been in some very good movies, and directed some very good movies in The Town. Yeah, that's one of my favorites of all time. But my thing with Ben Affleck is he seems like a likable, real guy. You know, when I see him in movies, I'm like, yeah, I know people like that. Anyway, his character in this movie is married to Rosamund Pike's character, and they are husband and wife, and one day, the wife goes missing. Now let me be completely honest with you. Going into this movie, the synopsis really didn't intrigue me that much or excite me. It almost sounds like an episode of Law and Order. But the thing that got me most excited for this movie was the fact that David Fincher was directing the film. Because with David Fincher, you get a director who pays very close attention to detail. Every little detail counts in his movies, and I like that, but he also knows how to take a screenplay and adapt it to a very, very good movie where you have good characters, and as a viewer, you get sucked into this immersive environment, and you feel like you're part of the mystery, the drama, and the crime. For example, let's go back to 2011. It was a dark, cold, rainy night, and I remember watching the movie The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo in a theater, all alone. All I had to keep me company were Sour Patch Kids and a cold Mountain Dew. And after the movie was over, I felt so nasty and dark and icky inside. But that's exactly how I should have felt, and I give credit to David Fincher for making me feel that way. So for that, he gets 2 thumbs up. So with all that said, let me get back to my point, and my point was, the original synopsis to this movie didn't really intrigue me all that much, and I was hoping when I went into this movie it gave me a lot more than just that basic synopsis. And did I get that? Absolutely. This movie goes in directions you don't expect it to, and directions you kind of want it to, but at the same time it still excites you. Even though you might kind of know what's going to happen, it still always throws a curveball at you, and you're like, well, that was pretty fucked up, but I liked it. Now, as far as the acting and performances go in this movie, I thought everyone did a pretty good job. Actually, at times, phenomenal jobs, because everyone played these characters to a T, and the movie also has Tyler Perry and Neil Patrick Harris in it. And, well, I don't really have any complaints with either one of those two either. Yeah, Tyler Perry. Now this movie's 2.5 hours long, and with a 2.5 hour long runtime, they better fill it with substance and things that matter, and as a viewer, when you're watching a mystery movie, they better keep that mystery and that suspense alive for all 2.5 hours. And did they do that? Yeah, they always throw a curveball at you just when you need it, and they keep things going and flowing. Now my only major complaint with this movie is the final third act of the movie. Because up until the last 20 minutes of this movie, I bought into everything that they were doing on the screen. It all made sense. It seemed logical and grounded in reality. You're like, yeah, that's probably what I would do in that situation. That makes sense. But in the last 20 minutes of this movie, all that just goes out the window. All character logic, all common sense does not exist any longer. And everything that was building up to this with that grounded reality just dissipates. And you're like, where are you going? It's like, we don't know. Poof. Yeah, for me, the character motivations and logic behind the things they're doing in the end of this movie just don't compute with the things that they did throughout the movie. It's like, no, 24 hours ago you wouldn't be doing that, but now you are. It's hard to buy into it, and there's almost no resolution when you really think about some of the things that happen in the very last act of this movie. But yeah, with all that being said, my favorite aspect about this movie was its take on the perception of people buying into the media. Because everything that you see on the news, just because they say it on the news, on the TV, doesn't mean it's true. One lie can lead to a whole mass genocide of someone's life and reputation. And, I've seen things like that happen in reality, and this movie does a great job of portraying that in the movie, and it's almost scary at times. Yeah, mass media just makes you quiver in your bed at night. So the movie Gone Girl, it's a great crime drama thriller that keeps you on the edge of your seat, and at the very end of the movie, you're like, Okay, I guess I'll just go with that. So anyway, guys, with everything said, I'm going to give Gone Girl an A-. So that's my take on the movie Gone Girl. Now here's my question to you. What did you think about the movie? Let me know down below. Or what is your favorite mystery movie of all time? Also, let me know down below. And by the way, if you haven't already, make sure you check out my last movie review. It was for The Equalizer, starring Denzel Washington. Yeah, it's a good time. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.